Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. It is July 28th, 2017, and we're back with another random daily rule. Well, guys, thanks for coming back. I know it's been a couple of days since you've seen me. Unfortunately, there are about 3 times a year in my job where unfortunately I come just a little bit too overscheduled and I'm unavailable. So bear with me. I do apologize for the lapse in content, but you will see that happen from time to time with me. Unfortunately, we have to pay the bills, got to feed the people. So yeah, we have a real job still, and but we're back. So I'll try to make it up to you to throw a little bit more content up here, and we'll see what happens. Today we are going to go with a slow pitch, maybe a little bit of an easy one. I'm going to go with another monster entry. So we're going to go to page 176 of our Monsters Manual, to the Hags. Hags represent all that is evil and cruel. Though they resembled withered crones, there is nothing mortal about these monstrous creatures whose forms reflect only the wickedness in their hearts. They are the faces of evil. Ancient beings with origins in the Feywild, hags are cankers on the mortal world. Their withered faces are framed by long frayed hair, horrid moles, and warts. Yeah, fair enough, guys. We all know what a hag is. It's a nasty old lady. But in 5th edition, and forgive me, I'm not 100% on this, but I believe this is new to 5th edition. They've added the rule of Hag Covens being an effect for us DMs to throw at you guys. And when hags must work together, they form covens. In spite of their selfish natures, a coven is made up of hags of any type, all of whom are equals within the group. However, each of the hags continues to desire more personal power. A coven consists of the 3 hags, so that any arguments between 2 hags can be settled by the third. If more than 3 hags ever come together, as might happen, if 2 covens come into conflict, the result is usually chaos. Shared spell casting is an interesting feature. While all the 3 members of a hag coven are within 30 feet of one another, they can each cast the following spells from the wizard's spell list, but must share the spell slots among themselves. And you see there's a nice little list of nastiness I can throw at you there. All the way down to the Contact Other Plane Phantasmal Killer Polymorph. That might be fun. And Eye Bite. I'm going to have to look that one up. That's their highest level spell. I don't remember that one very well. For casting these spells, each hag is a 12th level spellcaster, blah, blah, blah. And uses intelligence as her spellcasting ability, DC 12 plus intelligence modifier, all that fun stuff. I'm sure I'll have to write that down if I ever throw one of these at you guys. The Hag Eye. This is an interesting feature. A coven may craft a magical item called a Hag Eye, which is made from a real eye coated in varnish and often fitted to a pendant or other wearable item. The Hag Eye is usually entrusted to a minion for safekeeping and transport. A hag in the coven can take an action to see what the Hag Eye sees. If the Hag Eye is on the same plane of existence, a Hag Eye has AC 10, 1 hit point, and dark vision within 60 feet. If destroyed, each coven member takes 3d10 psychic damage and is blinded for 24 hours. Hag Coven can only have 1 Hag Eye at any time. Good, because 6 would be kind of creepy. Creating a new one requires all 3 members of the coven to perform a ritual. The ritual takes 1 hour, and the hags can't perform it while blinded. During the ritual, if the hags take any action other than performing the ritual, they must start over. So that could be neat. A little bit of a plot device we can throw in there. That's kind of nice. I like that. Monstrous motherhood. They propagate by snatching and devouring human infants. Nothing too exciting there, I guess. Let's switch over here. Oh, I'm on the right. After stealing a baby from its cradle or its mother's womb, the hag... That's horrible. My God. The hag consumes the poor child. A weekly... Yeah, that's not as bad. The hag gives birth to a daughter who looks human until her 13th birthday, whereupon the child transforms into the spitting image of her hag mother. Hags sometimes raise the daughters they spawn, creating covens. A hag might also return the child to its grieving parents, only to watch from the shadows as the child grows up to become a horror. This is some dark stuff. I like it. Arrogant to a fault, hags believe themselves to be the most cunning of creatures, and they treat all others as inferior. Even so, a hag is open to dealing with mortals as long as these mortals show the proper respect and deference. Over their long lives, hags accumulate much knowledge of the local lore, dark creatures, and magic which they are pleased to sell. Hags enjoy watching mortals bring about their own downfall, and a bargain with a hag is always dangerous. The terms of such bargains typically involve demands to compromise principles or give up something dear, especially if the thing lost diminishes or negates the knowledge gained through the bargain. So they're tricksters and they're nasty about it. Hags have a foul nature. They love the macabre and festoon their garb with dead things to accumulate their appearance with bones, bits of flesh and filth. So they're generally unpleasant to be around. There we go. Nothing too dark there. Dark sorority. Hags maintain contact with each other and share knowledge. Through such contacts, it is likely that any given hag knows of every other hag in existence. Hags don't like each other, but they abide by an ageless code of conduct. Hags announce their presence before crossing into another's territory and bring gifts when entering another hag's dwelling. Break no oaths given to other hags as long as the oath isn't given with fingers crossed. Ha! The old rules. Some humanoids make the mistake of not switching over to the other side of the page, like that! Make the mistake of thinking that the hag's rules of conduct apply to all creatures. When confronted by such an individual, a hag might find it amusing to string the fool along for a while before teaching it a permanent lesson. And in their lairs, hags dwell in the dark and twisted woods, bleak moors and storm-lashed seacoasts and gloomy swamps. That was hard to read. In time, the landscape around a hag's lair reflects the creature's noxiousness, and such that the land itself can attack and kill trespassers. Trees twisted by darkness attack passers-by, while vines snake through the undergrowth to snare and drag off creatures one at a time. Foul, stinking fogs turn the air to poison, and conceal pools of quicksand and sinkholes that consume unwary wanderers. So these guys are just pretty much just insufferably unpleasant to be around. That's how I'm reading this. There are further, if you go in here, there is, I believe, 3 listed hags available in the Monsters Manual. If you pick up Volo's Guide to Monsters, there's actually a couple more, and each of them is nastier than the one before, and check them out. I'm not going to go into all 3 of them just because I like to keep these videos a little short, and we've already stretched it beyond what I usually like to do. But that's what we've got on the hags. There's some really great starter points there for some interesting things you can do to not only bring combat with a hag into something far more interesting, but also to give them some roots deeper in your story. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to jump to the aid of someone stealing children? This is pretty much every parent's worst nightmare. And beyond parents, if you're younger playing the game, this is probably your worst nightmare, too, being stolen away from your family. So, sleep well, and we'll be back tomorrow with some more random daily rules. This is Big Mike. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you again for putting up with my my short absence this week, and we'll get back to it. Like, comment, and subscribe below, and have a great day.